Today we're gonna be crocheting because what else would I do? Apparently this is a craft channel now. That wasn't my intention, but that's not the only thing I'm gonna be doing forever. However, that is a lot of what I'm doing right now because remember, that is one of my goals for the year. That's one of my big things that I want to accomplish, is to whittle down my yarn supply and finish out projects that are already in progress. So that's what leaves us with a lot of crochet at this time. It won't be that way forever. Today's project is brought to us once again by Project Hail Mary. So not only was there a fox cardigan that was knitted, but there was also that little earth hacky sack bean bag that he used at the beginning with his students, and then also later on when he gave that to Rocky. I have actually already crocheted a couple of those. This was my first attempt. It has a nice chuckability to it. So you have your little Arctic cap, and then the Antarctic down here. You have the continents, but it came out a little larger than I wanted it to. I found the right style of yarn and it all worked out pretty well. It's kind of fuzzy. It looks like as squishable as the one in the movie. However, it is a little bit large. And it's not just because I have small hands, like it is larger than it should have been. So I went ahead and I made another one with different yarn. This is where the 24/7 cotton actually makes itself useful. This was great. However, the problem with this one, it's the right size and everything, right chuckability as well. However, with this one, I noticed that online the blue looked darker than it was, so this is the wrong shade of blue to match the movie. Now, however, I have finally gotten it all together. I got the right size of yarn, for which the Traitorous 24/7 cotton was actually the perfect choice for this. And I have the right shade of blue. Now, my only complaint is that the tan is a little bit lighter than I would like it to be. It kind of, if you're in a certain light, it could blend and look very similar to the white. I'm not too bothered by that, honestly. There was, as I crocheted this one, I noticed that North America is kind of a little bit weird here. It's got some extra legs. So when I went to do this one, I did my best to correct that. We don't necessarily have like the exact shape, but this just doesn't look right to me, so I made some corrections. This is based on a free pattern that somebody posted on Tumblr that they had found on Pinterest. So the pattern that I was using was actually in a different language, but as long as you understand the symbols, it's super easy to figure out. So I did that pattern with some adaptations to fix North America. And I have also seen some paid patterns that my friends have used that did not correct this. And also the free pattern that I found just had you crochet in the round, which is continuous without stopping to chain one and go up around. The main reason, I think I've mentioned in a previous video, but the main reason why I don't prefer to chain one and go around is because it leaves a very visible seam in the work. Like you can see, I used this in the round, but for example, if this were our spot, you would be able to see this spiraling line that looked different than the rest because you can see where the chain one happens. With crocheting in the round, the pattern still works just fine for this and you don't have a visible seam. So that is what I'm gonna be doing with this next one. These really don't take that long to work up. They're just kind of fiddly because you have so many color changes. Sometimes you go green, blue, green, tan, white, green, blue, like it is all over the place. And so that's the part that will slow you down if you're not used to doing color changes. I had forgotten actually that I had already started one with the correct yarns. So I really don't have that much done on it. It's just the tiniest little round at the top. So I will go ahead and use this one. I believe I have it tracked on my app where I am. With this one, you basically just have to end at the end of a round. You have to finish out the round or you're gonna be really lost. If you need to pause on this pattern for any reason, like you're done for the night, finish the round because it's going to get confusing, very confusing otherwise. I mean, do what you want, but it's going to be very difficult to pick up because you'll have to count back your stitches and make You'll have to count back your stitches and make sure that you have everything in the right place. Whereas if you pause at the end of the round, you know what your very next stitch is gonna be. If you're not used to juggling different yarns, you'll notice that all of these are still connected because I'm doing what's called carrying the color through. When you have like every other stitch being a different color consecutively for so much of the pattern, you really don't want to be tying off every single time. So what you do is it's called carrying the color, where you essentially drop the color that you just finished behind the other strings, and then you pick up the next color. I'll show you what I mean here in just a moment. Honestly, there's a free pattern available that is good, and from what I've seen, all the patterns that I have seen are the exact same thing. So with that, I would say don't bother buying a pattern because you can find it for free. And the free one that I found has no chain one and go around, and it's the same exact thing. There is no difference between them. I also have notes on my app where I've taken the corrections into account to get the correct North America shape. I'm going to have this one set out for comparison. All right, round 6. Now this part's actually tricky because I'm about to do a color change because there's 2 blue stitches. I've done 1. And then after this next blue stitch, I'm gonna color change. So I'm gonna go ahead and start making a blue stitch, and I'm gonna pull up this loop. But I need to, now that I have 2 loops on my hook, instead of finishing this off in blue, because this will pull through a loop of the same color, I wanna make sure that I start off my next stitch with this loop as a different color. So, I'm gonna go back a little. I'm gonna start my next stitch in blue, and before I finish off the stitch, I need to look at what color comes next. So I'm gonna do 1 green stitch. So now we're gonna do what's called carrying the yarn. I'm gonna drop the blue down behind, and I'm going to pull over the green from where it rests. And we're gonna pull through with the green because now, see, the blue stitch is still finished off correctly, 1, 2 blue stitches, but now our next stitch is ready to go with green. I have successfully changed my color. So I'm gonna do a green. Now this one I'm changing right back to blue, so I'm gonna drop the green and grab the blue again. So with this, you wanna try and, when you pull this across, do it like neatly, but a little bit loosely, because as you build up the bowl of the globe shape, if you do these too tight, it's gonna pinch, like cinch the waist of your globe. You want it to have a nice round shape so that it can squish in any available direction. This one has some small points of contact that you can kind of see because of the shape. It's not that big of a deal, but it will look like more of an oblong vertical oval if you do it too tightly. So this is supposed to be round 5, so I'm gonna unravel a little bit. That's what I get for picking up a project like weeks later. I was looking at the wrong row. So we're just gonna gently take it back. Not that big of a deal. These don't take too long once you figure out how to do the color changes. Once you find your optimal method for color changing, I should say. This one we're gonna do 3 blue. And remember to mark your first stitch so you don't get lost. Make sure to really carefully count the actual stitches that you are making because sometimes your brain can trick you into thinking that changing the color counts as your stitch. So see, I have a green loop on the hook, but I have not yet done my next green stitch. If I count it back, I have 1, 2, 3 blue, I have 1 green and 1 blue. My next stitches are going to be green, which is why this green one is on the hook, but I have not yet done the next green stitch. It's taking shape very slowly. Very little ice up top. I assume it's because they blew up Antarctica. This whole thing's only 18 rows, and I just finished row 5. So it's really, it works up quickly. It does. It works up. I can finish this in about like the course of a movie. So these are quick and fun little Project Hail Mary craft, not something that will take months like the fox cardigan. I mean, in fairness, the fox cardigan will work up quicker if you're just doing regular crochet, if you're just applying regular crochet to that pattern. I decided to go the route of pain and suffering and make it harder for myself by applying the Tunisian crochet style. So if you're curious about the Tunisian crochet style, you can check out my Project Hail Mary box cardigan video. I'll explain it more in the next part. I'll put a few more tips and tricks on that in the next part.